Hello everyone, welcome to ABA with Vic. Now before we begin with this week's episode, go ahead and click the subscribe button so that every week you can get weekly updates of ABA with Vic. This week's topic is token economy. Now token economy is very important to increase appropriate behaviors or desirable behaviors that we would like to see. Token economy is a point system. This point system allows students to earn rewards based on their appropriate behaviors. Token economy makes students work for reinforcement. They work for a certain reinforcement by placing appropriate behaviors or demonstrating appropriate behaviors that we would like to see. There are numerous varieties of token economy. Before starting token economy, select the appropriate behaviors that you would like to reward. And this could be sitting down quietly in their desk, participating in the classroom, requesting by raising their hands, playing appropriately with others, walking around a school campus without disturbing any other classrooms. Just remember that for token economy, we always want to reinforce appropriate behaviors. And token economy is a product of positive reinforcement because you're giving something to the individual that is going to increase the likeliness of the behavior to occur again in the future. After you select the behaviors that you want to reward, what you want to do next is to find out how you're going to measure these behaviors and how they are going to be rewarded. Then you're going to select your reinforcement. And after you choose your initial reinforcement, select your backup reinforcements. This is so that when the student doesn't like the first reinforcement you're going to present, if they don't like that one, you have a backup reinforcement that they can work towards too. And again, as we discussed before, reinforcements change all the time. So you also want to be proactive about how you're going to select your reinforcements and also be strategic about your reinforcements. Once you selected a reinforcer, place a price for it. So basically, this is a token board. It simply outlines what the student is working for, how many times they have to earn something so that they can finally earn their reinforcement. So this is a token board that we use token economy with. Now there's different types of token boards out there. You can create your own. It doesn't have to be exactly as the one I presented. You can create your own and be creative. You can create a token board that is customized for your student. For example, I created this token board for a student who would love French fries. What I did here was just print out pictures of French fries and then just place them as my tokens. Now once again, token boards do not have to look the same. They could start off by 3 spots, 5 spots, or even 10 spots or more. And here, depending on the student's level, the student can actually earn up to 10 French fries so that the student can actually earn their reinforcement. Now here's another example of a token board. When the student presented a desirable behavior, he will earn stamps instead of tokens. And he actually worked up all the way till 10. And here's another one. This is pretty standard, but I really like this one because it actually shows the value of the 1 cent they can earn their reinforcement by collecting 5 pennies, which basically puts a value on the reinforcement. Now if you have a student who is higher functioning, what you could do is instead of having 5, you can have 4 spots but place quarters. So the student could also learn the value of money and then also turn in the quarters for their reinforcement, which essentially gives them the message that they're actually working for their reinforcement. When working with individuals with autism that require visual supports, what you could also create when doing token boards or token economy system is to present them with a choice board. This will be a sample of a choice board. As you can see here, there are several choices that the student could actually have. These choices are kind of simple, but they also are highly reinforcements for the individual or the student. As you can see, these are accessible reinforcements that they can access after completing a task or presenting a desirable behavior. Now, when working with an individual with autism, what you could do is actually present these choices. For some students, this might be a little bit too stimulating because it's a lot of images, it's a lot of information that they're gathering. So what you could do is actually make it more simple. You can condense your choices. Instead of having 8, you can have 4, or actually you could even have 2. And then you could say, okay, what do you want? Do you want computer or do you want tablet? By making these choices more simple, you can have a student pick 1 of 2 instead of 1 out of 8 or more choices that they could have. Always remember not to make things over too stimulating for the individual because it could create anxiety or other problematic behaviors. And remember, we also want to avoid these. If any challenging behaviors arise, remember that we want to address these behaviors as well. If you create a choice board for individuals to choose from, always remember to choose reinforcements that they actually can have. For example, if I'm working with a student and they actually choose cookies, I'm going to make sure that they actually have access to the cookies. If they choose to have break, determine how long the break is going to be. Is it going to be for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? That's up to you to choose. Now, if you're going to give them edible reinforcements, always remember that you don't want to give them too much or too little, because you don't want to satiate the student and also avoid them from working, or you don't want to make the reinforcement too vague or too weak that it no longer becomes a reinforcement. As we discussed in my video for reinforcement, always remember that reinforcements change. If a student doesn't like chips anymore, find out something else that they like. If they don't want to play with the tablet, find something else that they might like. Perhaps they like a computer instead. Or if you give them the choice for a classroom break, if they don't want that, maybe you could take them outside for a small break. Remember that you want to praise appropriate behaviors. So if the student does the appropriate behavior that we want to see or that we're targeting, always remember to reinforce. Reinforcements can vary from high five, good job, edibles, access to the tangibles, and many more. If you're teaching a student a new skill, you really want to reinforce this behavior as much as possible. For example, if a student is learning how to request more and they independently without prompts or assistant request more, you really want to reinforce that behavior. What you could do is say, good job, saying more, and then present the reinforcement. If they were requesting for more chips, give them more chips. If they were requesting for more candy, give them candy. By doing so, the student learns that, oh, if I say more, they're going to comply with me and give me more of what I'm requesting. We always want to strengthen these behaviors because these are the behaviors that we're actually targeting. Now, another example is that if you're working with a student and they actually requested to play, you could present the token system. Now, let's say, for example, that the student has to write their name 5 times. So what you would do when the student finishes writing their name for the first time, you will present the token immediately, because basically this is a reinforcement. So give it to them and then prompt them to place it on the token board. If they write it twice, give them another token immediately. If they write it for the 3rd time, remember to reinforce. If they write it for a 4th time, always remember to reinforce again. So by doing so, the student is more compelled to complete the activity. Now, if the student actually writes their name for the 5th time, remember to reinforce immediately. Now, what you could request is for the student to count the pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After they are done counting, what you could do is, good job writing the name, and you can say, okay, time to play. Once they earn all the 5 tokens, you can give them access to play. You can give them 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's up to you. Now remember, if you're teaching a student a new skill and they actually got it, always remember to reinforce. Make it really exciting. You can say, wow, good job, you did it. High five. Awesome. You always want to remember to reinforce so that the student gets motivated. If you present a task that is easy for the student, you're still going to reinforce, but you're not going to reinforce heavily as the first time that they did it. So again, with the example of the student requesting more independently, you can say, wow, you asked for more chips independently, good job. So in this case, you could probably give them 4 chips. So in this case, you could give them up to 4 or 5 chips, depending on how you feel comfortable. Now, if the student begins requesting more independently, what you could do is still reinforce, but also reinforce on a smaller scale. This could be, for example, instead of giving 5 or 7 chips, now you can present 3 or 4. The student is still getting their reinforcement, but at a smaller scale. And the goal for this is that the student actually requests this more independently without actually getting reinforced all the time. You want to fade out the token system. You want to fade out the reinforcements. When working with individuals with autism, and if you're teaching them a new skill, after they complete the skill, remember to reinforce immediately. We want to strengthen that behavior so that the student repeats that behavior in the future. Another thing when using token economy, what you want to prevent is to be punitive. Now what this means is to take away tokens after they earn. Always remember that in ABA we do not use punishment. We always want to use reinforcement. Let's say, for example, that you're working with a student and you present a token board with 5 spots. And the student has actually been working and they earned 3 tokens. But during the lesson, the student begins getting more distracted, or starts laughing a lot, or starts engaging in SIB. What you want to prevent is to take away the tokens that they already earned. Remember, we do not want to be punitive. What you should do is actually praise them for not doing the behaviors that we don't want to see. So let's say, for example, the student is laughing and they're messing around, and you clearly know that they're messing around. When they're calm and having quiet hands or attending to the lesson, you could say, hey, good job listening, and then provide them with a token. We want to reinforce appropriate behaviors. Now, if the student continues being more attending and paying attention, you could provide another token and say, hey, good job listening. And by this point, he already earned his 2 additional tokens, and now he's able to have his reinforcement. By doing so, what we hope to achieve is that the student learns that appropriate behaviors gives them reinforcement. You don't want to present student with some choices that they can't have. Let's say, for example, they ask for cookie. And during the lesson, they actually been working towards cookie and they have earned their pennies. Now, after they earn their pennies, if you don't actually have cookies, they might no longer be motivated to do the desirable behaviors anymore. What basically happens is that you deceive them from actually working for something and not getting access to it, and not reinforcing their appropriate behaviors. So always remember, if the student is actually working for something, make sure that the student actually has access to it. Also remember, if you presented the reinforcement once, that you could also present that reinforcement another time and another time. It's important to have the same reinforcements because you don't want to give them false hope about getting something for one day and then they want to work for the same thing the other day and they don't have access to it. If we do that, we are not reinforcing their behaviors. Remember to praise heavily. Say, wow, good job, awesome. But also you don't want to say, okay, now let's go to Disneyland. Because if the student does the same thing the second time, you have to present the same reinforcement again. If you're not able to, then that motivation is lost. So it's very important for you to have accessible reinforcements. If you're unsure of what they like, give them choices. Always remember that these choices could be anything. It could be the selection of movie, it could be a selection of outing, it could be a selection of food that they can earn for the end of the week, it could be a selection between orange juice and apple juice, it could be a selection of anything. So this week we went over token economy. We went over how token economy actually makes an impact in appropriate behavior. We also went over how token economy promotes appropriate behaviors and the student actually benefits from it by getting a reinforcement. We also went over how reinforcements are used so that reinforcements helps us promote appropriate behaviors. And we also mentioned that we do not use punishment in ABA. Always remember for these choices to be very simple and to the point. If the choices are too many and are overly stimulated, just make them very simple. Remember that token boards can be designed at your desire. You can use stars as tokens. You can usually use tokens as tokens. You can use stickers. You can use pennies, quarters, anything that you want. And also use something that the student will respond positively to. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment down below. You can also email me at ABAwithVic@gmail.com or tweet me at ABAwithVic. This has been ABA with Vic. Always remember to make this week ABAzing, and as always, thank you for watching. Hey there, April is coming up, and as you may know, April is Autism Awareness Month. So in honor of Autism Awareness Month, I'm going to give out 4 lucky subscribers these following prizes. All you have to do is comment on this video down below and let me know that you want to win. Now, if you're one of the lucky 4 winners, what you're going to receive is a gift card, a card magnet that says Autism Awareness, and this cool Autism Awareness ribbon. All you have to do to enter on this giveaway is just leave me a comment down below, and each Sunday on April I'm gonna announce a lucky winner. So go ahead, leave me a comment down below and let me know that you want to win. Now, good luck to you, and it's just easy as that. And the first winner will be announced in April 2nd. Good luck to you, and as always, thank you for watching.